We were talking a little bit about the workshop that we're offering. It's
Yes.
called Live, Love, and Leave. Yeah?
Okay. One of the things that I have been doing is being present with people as they die. Um, what I mean by that is basically everybody says we go through two things inevitably. We're born and we live and then we die. And so when I was going through childbirth, I had 3 sons. And we were taught how to breathe. You know, there was actually a coach who taught us how to breathe through childbirth, because you want to get as much oxygen to your thinking brain and your functioning. So you breathe deep breathing, because if you're birthing and you're clutching and being stuck, you're not really breathing. You do push when you're pushing the baby out, but back away from the baby. One of the things I noticed when I had the opportunity to be with people who were during their last moments or days of life and moving toward death is that people were not familiar with the process. And I was with my mom when she died. I was with a friend's mom when they died. I was with a man who was dying. He was a father to a friend. So I saw this man the afternoon he received a diagnosis that there was really no treatment for the cancer he had. And nobody was talking about dying, but I was. And I said, you know, I've been with many people who've died. So I could tell you a bit about how it happens. And I could come and sit with you and help you through this process. Childbirth people have help with breathing. I could help you breathe your way out of this body. And this is a farmer who has no advanced education, who has no discussions about life and death and spirituality, but he was worried about how he would die, what would happen. So that's just one of the stories about how we can be present with someone.
I think this is fascinating. So if you have somebody who is dying, for example, in the hospital staff would say, you must leave now because this person is trying to die and he won't let go because you are here. Yeah. And actually what you're saying is that you can be present with somebody who's dying and then give support and strength, right?
Yeah. For some people, while someone's in the room that they love and that loves them, they have trouble leaving their body because of the presence of that loved one. So that's part of that, is that the loved one who's there needs to communicate that it's okay to go, that it's time now, that your body, your heart, your breathing no longer functions. So what's the gift is to be able to leave the body knowing that those of us who are alive after will be fine. We will be fine. We will remember. We will treasure you in our lives. But the other part of it works as well, because in the process, we can actually assist a person to slow their functions down. So, for instance, we have a certain breathing pattern. I know with my mom, she's very decisive in her life. So when she knew it was getting time to die, well, that's what she was going to do. So she said who she wanted to see, and my older brother came and her best friend came. And then now, okay, let's do it. So she was at home in her senior's apartment, and I was there, and she then quietly went into a coma.
Okay.
But there's still the essence, the energy of that person is still there.
Mm-hmm.
It is still there. And so being with her and slowing my breathing down, matching it to hers, and then slowing it down, 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 and saying to her body, and now your heart gets slower and slower and slower. So you can bring her to a point where she is shutting down her heart and her breathing.
Okay.
And then you can say, so I am here with you. If you need to be alone, you are now at that peaceful departing stage. So go in peace. And it's lovely because once, well, a lot of people, sometimes people are not quite so easy to work with as that. I had a friend's mother who had some fairly strong religious beliefs and was very sure that she would die and go to hell or whatever that's about. So,
Okay.
so then there's a different kind of talking that you do with the person who's dying. But the thing that I think is that we know, hopefully you know that person enough to know what would they like.
Mm-hmm.
Would they prefer to have someone with them who was present as they left? My belief about it is that we are all energy forms, just sitting in this body for this time. So there's a law in science that said energy cannot be created or destroyed. When you think like that, then death is merely the body that no longer functions vacating, but the energy that is that person's true essence continues on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember after my grandma died, grandma was pretty forthright, and she had been through a depression when there was no money during the wars and things. So she didn't like to spend money. I mean, things that were not practical. So I remember standing in a change room about to buy a lovely pair of navy blue trousers, and I could hear my grandmother's voice saying, "Does that navy blue match with anything else? I don't believe you need those trousers." So it's like the energy and essence that we are comes into the body as that baby breathes and births, and it exits the body as the person's physical form dies. And we can be present and helpful. And in so many ways, with the one farmer I was telling you about, his wife, his children were all around. And collectively, we breathed him out.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
You managed to transform a tragic moment into something beautiful and natural. Yeah, it is natural, but it's so scary. And for people like me talking to you, and knowing that there is somebody who can actually teach me, be with the persons who may leave me at some point, or even myself, leaving this world, it's very comforting.
Yes.
And I think you are one of the strongest person I have ever met.
You another unusual part of the story of the family around the family farmer.
Okay.
So at the end, when the person had stopped breathing and his heart had stopped and everybody been present and said their goodbyes, I was outside the room talking to my friend who was a son of this man who died. And I said, who was that other older couple I didn't recognize? They were maybe in their 30s or something, and she had a hat on and she was carrying a purse, and he was dressed with the hat too. And I said, I didn't recognize those. I know your brother, I know your sister, I know your mom, I've met your family, but who were they? And he said, Martha, I didn't see anybody like that.
Oh my God.
So I said, well, let me just describe it. And he said, oh, yeah, that's my dad's parents.
Okay.
Because what actually happens in the etheric form is that people come to help that person who's dying move on. And that was his mom and dad there to be there as he moved on.
That's very comforting to know, actually.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. Though I have for a long time seen what you might call as essence of a person, but the energy form of a person. So yeah, they were vintage.
Yeah, obviously they would be.
Yes.
Vintage. Yeah. So then, do people come to you for this kind of support? Do they ask for your advice? Do they want you to teach them how to behave when their parents are going and they know they're going?
Well, the thing that's interesting with this virus business is that people die and they die alone.
Yeah.
And a member of our book club died just a month ago. And when you can't be in the hospital with them, right? What happens is that energy is not bounded in space and time by physicalness.
Okay.
So if your relative is in the hospital dying of the coronavirus, your energy presence can be there to let them know you love them as their breath stops and their heart stops, that ease of the discomfort of not being able to breathe will stop, and their energy essence can move away with ease and comfort. So to be present in your ethereal energy self is possible, because it's hard when people say I couldn't be there, and so when my friend Margaret died, I know that we who knew she was going through a lot in the hospital, we could be here with her in energy as she departed. So
yeah. Yeah. But even for the people who don't connect to the idea of the energy of the other people, I think just knowing that you can be there for the person that you love, and it's not just being there, just knowing that you're a positive presence for that moment, and that the person that you love is not dying alone. I think that's
the other thing. If you were with someone in this situation when they are dying, you yourself are breathing. The other thing. If you were with someone in this situation when they are dying, you yourself are breathing them down. You're slowing breath. And you're providing that matching. If you came in and you were highly animated and saying, just, this is so exciting, I'm going to talk to this group and it's going to be, I could match your energy.
Yeah.
And then I could say, okay, so now as we look, Deanna, to preparing for that presentation, how can I support you? And as my energy shifts,
you're bringing me.
So does yours.
Yeah.
So you can practice that with your kids, with your partner, anything. But yeah, people don't always get that they give off energy and they feel other people's energy. But the thought about being able to be present with someone who is in the last stages of their life, and I can be there to support them in having that process be easier, more comfortable, is so enheartening. You know, we just feel like even if I don't have the words, I have the breath, and I can be there in love and support as this person,
So
their body dies.
I think that what you're doing, you're actually reframing the minds of the people, right? Because we go, and then when we think that we're going to lose somebody, then we freak out and we suffer and we oppose. Yeah, we fight back. We don't want this to happen, right? Well, this is a new frame that you're bringing, yeah, to this tragic moment. Yeah, you turn it into something that, well, okay, it's gonna happen, but it can happen in a peaceful way, and it's mind-blowing.
And even if you put yourself in those final stages of your own life, wouldn't you like to have the support of a loved one who could be there with you to breathe you out, to allow you the ease of transitioning and transforming out of the body that can no longer sustain you? And I think sometimes when people fight and people keep people on life support, it's their own fear. So when we can reframe our fear into supporting and love, that makes all this possible.
Yeah. Wow. That's the best lesson in reframing, Martha. Honestly, yeah.
Yes.
Because it's gonna happen, you know, and like you don't have many options, right?
Yes.
But this is a beautiful way out of it, right?
It is. It's very loving and it's very. I think sometimes when someone's dying, we feel at a loss. What can I do?
Yeah.
Right? Or I can't fly there. They live 4 hours away. What can I do? Well, go and find a quiet place to sit. Imagine that person. Now, you can do this not just when people are dying. I have to tell you the story of, I know you like a small video, but this is longer.
That's okay. We'll cut it in pieces.
My mom fell and on ice because, you know, Canada, we have a lot of ice and snow. And she crushed her shoulder, the ball and the socket, and all of it needed to be replaced.
Okay.
So she was in hospital and I was there visiting her. But when I came home to my house, she went to my brother's house, my brother and his wife, to stay while she was in recovery and going to rehab and things. So one night as I was meditating, I was thinking of my mom and just wishing her good recovery. And the next morning I was talking to her on the phone and I said, "How was your sleep and how are you?" And she said, "I had the strangest dream, Martha. It was like you were standing in my room." And I said, "Well, what did I have on?" She said, "What did you have on?" "I don't know." And I said, "Well, if that happens again, tell me."
Yeah, I remember.
So about 3 weeks later, we're talking on the phone and she says, "Your yellow nightie." And I said, "What about my yellow nightie?" She said, "Well, you asked me to tell you what you had on when you came to my room again." So she was right with my yellow nightie. Once we get over the concept of being caught in a body, in a physical form, here I am, that's what it is. That concept of being able to go through a loving connection to see my mom. And she actually saw me too. How about that?
Okay, amazing. Yeah. These are very, I mean, it's amazing for people like me who are very grounded. Yeah. These are like amazing concepts to grasp and yeah, put them into practice.
Well, you have a real loving energy, and you have a capacity when you're teaching and facilitating and working with people. You bring that energy to you. So it's not a big jump to say it's that energy that I am that's my true self.
Yeah.
It's not that I have my arm in a brace because I broke my leg or broke my arm. It's this energy essence you are. Even in your groundedness, you share that.
Yeah, I do feel that when I have like in these intense training programs, yeah, with like 20 or even like 25 people, and then some you just have the group, yeah, and you can work with them and you can mold them, and then there's such a like such a profound interaction. At night when I try to go to sleep, I have that in me, you know, like I have every part of that energy, and it's hard to slow down and say, okay, I need my rest, you know. I do feel this exchange.
Yes, this breathing down,
yeah,
as you go to sleep is not going to leave your body. It's just going to put you back to sleep. Breathing exercises to make you calm down and sleep are good too, but I don't know if people know when we work with them that in some ways that connection continues.
Yeah,
that's another video. How to
video.
How to not carry it all with you.
Okay, then that's lovely, Martha. I love talking to you.